Today is the 5th of December, and of course I'm in Australia, so if you're watching from elsewhere you might be thinking, hang on a second, what do you mean it's Sunday night? It is really Sunday night where I am. So I'm just going to quickly have a bit of a chat before people log on, and then we'll get started. So I've got someone walking in the front door. That's all right, just come in. Okay, it all happens all at the same time. Okay, so I'm hoping everyone had a great week. How are we all? When you're here, please pop on and say hello. And if you can, let me know where you're watching from, whereabouts you are. Hey Rose, how are you going? Of course, you may have told me before where you are and you don't need to do it again. But if you're new with me, I'd love to know. It's always good to know where everybody's from. It's fun actually seeing people in all parts of the world pop on and say hi. Okay, so how was your weekend, guys? Has everyone had a great weekend? Just adjust my glasses. Hey, Margaret, you're sick of the rain. Oh, it's been raining a bit. Whereabouts are you, Margaret? It's been raining here quite a bit over the last week or so, but this weekend wasn't too bad. It actually was not raining all day, so we got the lawn mowed, which was great. My son did that. Hey Judy, hi there. Nice to see you. All right. So for me, I didn't have a lot on this weekend, just a few. Oh, Kirrawee. Okay. I think, did we have this discussion before? One of my girlfriend's parents lived in Kirrawee, just a couple of streets away from the station. So there we go. You're not very far away at all. Hi, Tammy. Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you. Thanks for that. Hey, Michelle. Nice to see you there. All right, I'm just going to log on to the computer and make sure that I'm in the right place, that I'm actually live where I should be. And obviously, if you guys are all watching, I must be. But I also need to make sure that my sound is okay. Can everyone hear me all right? All right. And from here, I can see your comments more easily as well. That's awesome. All right, let's get this camera turned around and see what we've got to play with tonight. All right, 1 second. All right. Oh, Shani had her Christmas party. That's nice. And how is Shani going? Whoop. Down there, you can hear me? I bumped the phone when I moved it, so I'm so sorry if I lost you there for a second. But hopefully we're all back in business now. All right, you can hear me good. Excellent. That's what I like to. You're near the station now? I think they were Kirrawee Avenue. Does that ring a bell? Kirrawee Avenue, Kirrawee. I think that's what it was, which was just off the main road there. Not the main road, but the other main road. I know. I've heard really good things. I wish I lived closer. I'd love to go to one of her parties. That would be awesome. And I'm really, really sad that because they cancelled next year's incentive trip, which would have been Shani's first trip. How exciting. And I'm really sad that I don't get to spend that time with her, getting to know her a little bit better, because I've only actually officially met her once. So, so yeah, I would have liked that. But anyway, in real life, that is. Never mind. It is what it is. I'm going to unplug the phone. Hopefully I've got enough charge so that it doesn't get overheated. All right. Anybody else I missed? Carol, I missed you. First time saying hello. Oh, that's nice. Thank you very much. I'm glad to meet you here tonight. That's lovely. Oh, that's nice, Jody. See, I've got you all fooled. Bronwyn's been probably saying stuff. Bronwyn's known me too long. That's the problem. I haven't seen her tonight, so I hope she's around somewhere. All right. So for anyone who doesn't know, our mini catalogue is retiring, which means we have a list now of what's retiring. And although there is a list, I have to tell you, I found this year's list really, really confusing. And if you are also finding it confusing, there are two ways to make sure to make it less confusing. One is to go onto the online store, because everything that's retiring there is listed. And if it's marked off, there's a little red marked thing on it to show you that it's marked off. So it's actually really easy. And if it's already sold out, it doesn't even appear. So that's probably the least confusing of all. But the other thing that you can do is do what I've done, which is get a catalogue or several if you have the time, and actually go through and highlight from the list, highlight everything that's retiring. I'm now using this as my retiring list instead of an actual list because I found a list too hard to work with. So yeah, oh look, Bronwyn and I have known each other more than half our lives. Since she was 14. I met her when she was 14 and I was about 18, 19. I think it was the beginning of the year I turned 19 that I met Bronwyn, and we had a lot to do with each other over the years since then. And now we get to be in the same team, and that's really exciting. So that was a bit unexpected. I didn't even know Bronwyn was into paper crafts, and I don't know if she knew either. Sometimes that's how it works out, right? Okay, so you can see I've highlighted anything that's retiring in the catalogue, so you can see these kits are going to still be around for a bit. But, you know, the Frosted Gingerbread bundle is going now. If it's a bundle and it's in this catalogue as a bundle, some things I've maybe said that the bundle is going, but not highlighted the individual stamp sets. Now, in the case of this one, they're going all together. But in some cases, what that means, the bundle is retiring. It will no longer be a bundle, but the products themselves are going to be available individually in the future. Okay, so you kind of need to, that's why the list is confusing. It can be really hard to tell what's actually going and what's not, and that's why doing it like this or looking at the online store is a much better idea because it's less confusing, and we don't like being confused, right? That's how that works. I don't like being confused, although it seems to happen a whole lot more than I wish it did, but anyway, that's just life. There are some things that are not retiring. So for example, this red ruffled ribbon, you can see I haven't highlighted it here. That's because it's going to be available in the future. So that's really cool. Some items are going to be available like continuously. Straight after this catalogue, they'll still be available. And some items will be reintroduced in next year's holiday catalogue or next year's mini catalogue that comes out in July. So there's a couple of different ways of interpreting that. So you just want to sort of check out the list and then you can make the marks. Now, the other thing I did when I did my retiring list was I marked down if items are actually, I marked into here in pen if it was going to be marked down or discounted. So for example, this paper, the 6x6 gingerbread and peppermint paper in all these lovely colors, I think I've got that right here actually. I didn't mean to, but I do actually have that. So this is really lovely paper. You can see I've chopped it up a little bit, but I still have plenty left. I need to get in and use some more of it. That's 6x6 paper, and that's going to be that's 30% off. So that brings it down to a really good price because it was only $20 to start with, and you'll be taking $30 off that. The paper that we're going to use tonight is over here on page. I've pulled out the Harvest Meadow stuff tonight. Now, once again, not everything here is retiring, okay? For example, the stamps and the dies and the bundle is not retiring. This will still be a bundle in a future, okay? So you don't need to worry about jumping in, racing to get these. Now, if the bundle is retiring, but the individual pieces are continuing, but if you love them, I would still recommend that you get them now as a bundle because the bundle saves you 10%, okay? But there are some other great specials to be had. So, for example, this paper that we're using tonight, the Harvest Meadow 12x12 paper, this gorgeous stuff, it's 50% off, guys. I mean, how crazy is that? $10 for a pack of paper, 12x12 sheets. And they're double-sided, two of each design. Absolutely beautiful paper. And I've got some of it here that I've already chopped up. You can see it's all in pieces. I love, love, love this paper. And it's got some really, really nice colours in it. In the catalogue, it tells you what colours are in the catalogue so that you can match up with what cardstock you have or what inks you have. So Calypso Coral, Bumblebee, Soft Succulent, Misty Moonlight and Crumb Cake are the colours in this. Ah, there you go. You're on the north side of Kirrawee. Okay. Well, you know where I mean, though. I remember their house very well. I was because it was my best friend, and I was there so often. I was what they would call a backdoor person. You know, you never come in the front door. You always go around the back and walk straight into the kitchen and open the fridge. That's the kind of person that I was in that house, and I remember it very, very well. And I'm very sad those days are gone. They're good memories. All right, so what else is going off this page? The Diamond Weave ribbon is going. I don't have this. And if it wasn't discontinuing, I probably would get it. It's a thicker ribbon than I like to work with, but it's like a crochet. It actually does look like it's been crocheted with like a little fine thread. But can you believe that the cork paper is going? The cork paper is possibly my favorite thing in this catalogue. It's one of my favorite things. I've got a couple. The time-worn type embossing folder is not retiring. So what is? The ribbon, the cork, and the paper. Those three items are going. The beautiful brush metallic adhesive backed dots, those are staying. They're continuing on, and I am so happy about that. They are absolutely beautiful. Here's all I've got left of my current pack. You see I've got a copper one and a bunch of bronze ones, but all my gold ones are gone. I love, love, love them. They're so nice. And they come in, as you can see, 2 different sizes. They're really lovely. All right, so shall we make something? I think that would be a good idea. Hey there, Jenny. Nice to see you. Now, before I go too far, I do want to mention, if you are one of my customers and you receive one of my newsletters each month, or lately I've been sending them a little bit more often than every month, whenever there's something special that I really want my customers to know, like a new promotion or something like that, I try and get a newsletter out when that happens. So if you're not on my newsletter list, let me know and I will add you. The other thing is, if you're in my private VIP group, so these are customers and people in Australia who shop with me and actually do business with me, or are in my team. For my customers who place orders in December, I'm offering something really special. I have a special Christmas gift for those people. So I would like you, if you get my newsletter or you're in my private group, to go check that out. And that's kind of important because it's only for orders in December. So, and there's no, yeah, go have a look. Go have a look. All right, so you can see this beautiful paper with those colors that I just mentioned before. I really like this one. I haven't used this yet. I really need to. And then this one and it's got the Calypso coral on the back, little branches. And then we've got some Calypso coral here with some leaves. This beautiful, I like this one. This is Misty Moonlight. It's like a little, almost like a little tiled kind of a look. It's really nice. Like that. Oh, hey there, Jean. All the way from Southern Oregon. When you say Oregon, is Portland would be considered Northern Oregon, yes? I'm trying to remember. I did go there. I stayed in Portland many, many years ago, and we did the obligatory run up to Mount St. Helens. And that was in 2000, so 21 years ago this year. Oh my goodness. And we went right up the coast from Los Angeles all the way to Seattle, and we stopped in Portland on the way. We caught the train actually to Portland. It was just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. So we would have gone through Southern Oregon. There you go. Look at these beautiful colors. So this is the Bumblebee. We've already looked at that one. This is also Misty Moonlight and white. Bumblebee on the back. Soft succulent in kind of a script design. I like this one too. There's actually no paper in here that I don't like. I just think they're really, really nice. And then this is lovely because it's kind of like, looks like wheat to me, kind of, that kind of look, hasn't it? So anyway, I think I've shown you all those. Oh, the back of that one. It's kind of Calypso Coral and Bumblebee together in another kind of tile design. Very, very cute. All right, so I'm going to play with these a little bit tonight. Possibly, I'm going to try and get to 2 cards if we possibly can. And I've got a couple of ideas of things that I want to do, but as usual, they're just ideas in my head at the moment. I thought I might do a bit of smushing tonight. For those of you who haven't seen the smushing technique, I love the smushing technique. It's a lot of fun. So there are different ways to do this, but I'm going to start with reinkers. Now, these are the colors that I just read off that are in the paper. And I thought we might have a little bit of a play. We don't have to use them all. In fact, I usually suggest for this that too many colors can make it a little bit muddy and make it a bit of a mess. So I probably won't go with every single color, but you know, let's start with some soft succulent. I'm going to start with my more earthy colors down the bottom. Just a couple of drops. We'll start, less at the moment is more. We're not going to do too many. I'm going to do reinker here and there. A couple of drops here. And you're thinking, what the heck is she doing? So for most people, I'm sure, have seen the smush technique. I don't know if that's the official name, but that's what I like to call it because that's what you do. You smush it. We're going to use a spritzer. For anyone who knows me, you know I love these things. I use them on Friday night as well. Did anyone see the cards we made? We made it with the Blackberry Beauty suite on Friday night. And if anyone wants to go back, and that was a Facebook Live, you're very welcome to go over to the Facebook page and look at that. And we used some spritzing, but we weren't smushing, we were just spritzing. And those turned out really nice. So I'm actually going to add a bit of water. And the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to start to run. All right. So now we get to choose whether or not you can get a brush and move this around a little bit. I kind of like to let it do its own thing. And, you know, who knows what's going to happen here. I'm going to add a little bit more water again. So it's pretty wet. And I've got a piece here that I cut earlier. And we're going to make a mess. I'm going to pop it down. So I'm doing it this way so you guys can see what's happening. And I'm going to kind of move it a little bit. It's gone a little bit more dotty than I was expecting, but hey, you know, maybe we can do something with that. As you can see, this is almost completely clean now. So I'm actually going to add a little bit more, but this time I'm going to make it less. I am going to move it around with a brush. All right, so I'm going to grab a water painter because I actually don't really like how that turned out. And we may just end up doing something different. Whoops, missed the block completely. What I was going for here is I want to go with kind of like a sunset kind of a look. I would like some colors on the ground. I'm going to spray it again. So I'm sure I can do something with this. This time I'm not going to let the dots sit. So I'm actually going to run a bit of water through this and I'm going to move these around. And you can see I've sort of gotten rid of most of the dots. I don't really want all of that. And I'm going to grab another piece of paper and I will cut it to size if necessary. And you can go either way. You can put it on or you can turn it up the other way. The advantage of doing it the other way is that you can see what's going on. All right, I like this better. All right, I've also got some left here. So if I wanted to, I could actually do a second one and see how that turns out. It's a very random technique. Actually, that's kind of nice too. All right, so what I want to do is I want to make a background. And I promise, you're probably thinking, oh, I don't know about that. But I promise I'm going to do something pretty awesome with these. I am going to bring my trimmer in. But before I cut this paper, because it's kind of still wet, I don't want to cut it with my trimmer because my trimmer blade will drag through the wet cardstock. So I'm actually going to bring my heat tool in. And I'm going to dry that. Portland's 5 hours away. Oh, hi, Gina. And you're in Alberta. I have only... Is Calgary in Alberta? I think it is. That's the only place I've really been in Alberta, so that's not really very good, is it? All right, so I'm trying to dry this, especially around the edges. I like both of these. I might even like this one better with the... I've got options now. It's nearly dry. And this is just too dotty for me. I don't like it. So we're going to start over. The colours are good, but I don't like the dots. Now, if I had used different paper, if I had used watercolour paper, this wouldn't have been such a problem. So it was the paper more than it was the technique. I'm hoping that's enough. Right, so let me see what I can do here. Now this is, I want to sort of be right on the edge of this. I'm going to go just below that. And then this one. And in a second we can choose which one we like the best. I'm going to start about here. All right, now I've made a frame, and I made a frame from the cork. Do not be afraid of the cork, okay? The cork is the most fantastic stuff. I just love it. And what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be putting this behind here. Can you see that? And I'm going to decide which one I like the best. I kind of like them both because it kind of gives me, it looks so much better when you start putting it all together on your card. It looks really nice, actually. What do you think? Which one do we like? Do we like this one? Or do we like the lighter one? You know what? I'm still determined to use that, Jean. I think I can still do something with this, but I'm going to leave it for now and think about it. And I might put something up in the next couple of days. I kind of like the interesting look here with the white in the sky. So what I've got to plan, I've already cut out some black shapes from this Harvest Meadow die set. And see, I'm thinking of putting a couple of different shapes over here, over the frame. Now, you may notice that in the catalogue, they've actually done something quite similar. I just wanted to do a different type of background, but I just want to show you. Here it is. See, they've got some different coloured dies, and then they've used a bigger piece at the back and put that. Now, I could do that if I wanted to. I've also got a piece that I cut earlier, which I've managed to get some, oh no, actually this is not the right piece, but just to give you an idea anyway. So how that would look, I could have these like this if I wanted to, and that would look quite nice. Or I'm leaning towards this piece with the white. What do you guys think? You like the lighter one? Everyone's saying the lighter one as well. Yep, I think so too. And your idea of getting some gilding flakes out has me intrigued. I'm thinking maybe I should do that. And do we want to have the skinny little guy here, or do we want this one? This one's easier to work with because you've got more space behind there to put it on dimensionals or something like that. Do we want the more, like this one to me looks like lavender. And this is, I don't know what this is, Scotch thistle maybe? This is like a chamomile or an echinacea or something. What do we think? All right, so everyone's saying the lighter one, and I do think I agree. So let's go with that. I know the cork paper is just, I'm going to miss it so much. They're retiring it. I don't believe it's on sale here in Australia. Some items, if you're overseas and you're watching me and I tell you something's marked down, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's marked down where you are, or vice versa. There's going to be things overseas that are marked down that are not marked down here. It all depends on what's available in the warehouse. The cork is marked down. It's 10% off, whereas the paper is 50% off. So, all right. So I'm actually going to put this, I'm going to put this behind here. I'm going to use some dimensionals. The lavender looking piece, you think so, Jean? Okay, that's what we'll do. So I'm going to pop some of these behind. And I'm also going to, because this side is quite long, I don't want it to sag, I'm going to pop some, so 6 altogether. Maybe one shadow die only. Oh, that's a nice idea. Maybe. But then we still have to decide which one. I do have a soft spot for this one. I think that's really nice. But they will look good. There they are. It's not on sale here. Oh, and you mean the cork? I know. I'm so disappointed. This was something I really hoped was going to stay. I don't very often get disappointed. I'm pretty understanding because I know they need to move on stuff to bring out new stuff. I get it. I totally get it. But this is one thing I would have liked to have seen stay. But hopefully it will come back at a future date, maybe. Now I've just realized that that's sticking out a tiny bit. So I'm going to do a sneaky thing because no one's going to see it. And I'm going to, whoop, I don't want to cut. I should have done this before I stuck it together, but never mind. I just want to move it out of the way and I'll fix it up later properly. Whoops. It's down the bottom here that you can see it. I'll fix it later. All right, that'll do. You get the idea, all right? So like this. So which flower are we going to go? Oh, Anita, never say sorry. It's never a problem. Maybe one shadow die only. So the question is, which one? I mean, Jean did say the lavender looking piece. Of course, that is the hardest one to attach. Thanks, Jean. But it does look nice. I do like it. Do we have one? Do we have two? Or do we just... What do you think, guys? Still go with the lavender, Jean? Do you still think we should go with the lavender? All right. No one else has suggested. You like the thistle, Michelle? Just the lavender. Okay, the lavenders. You just want to challenge me, don't you, guys? All right. So for these guys, I would probably put them on dimensionals. But for these, even my black dimensionals are going to be too big. However, because these little leaves, I'm going to put this, like I might put the others a little bit further over in the middle, but these I would attach to the edge here. Just deciding how to make them look their best. Well, shall we try? I might be about to do something really silly on you know, live video, but let's try and see if we can. I'm going to try putting them on. So at least they're black, and so they'll be really hard to see. So obviously you can see them here, but when you look at them from the other side, you really can't see them. So I'm going to try putting a couple of these on in the biggest spot I can. But like you can see, there's not... when you have to cut your mini dimensionals down, that it's a really little spot. So I'm going to try putting a couple here and there. So the good thing about these guys is that when you're putting them on, you can see them quite easily because of the white backing. But when you take that backing off, if you don't have any black dimensionals, I highly recommend them. They're very handy. So when you take the backing off, it's really hard to see them. They really do hide well against your black cardstock. Or any dark colour actually, but black particularly. All right, so so this bit doesn't flap around because it really is flapping a little bit more than I'd like. I'm going to pop that down with Tombow because that's about the best thing really when it comes out. Who else is going to miss the cork paper? Is it just the couple of us, or is everyone on board about the cork paper? Yeah, I do sometimes, Anita. Oh, yes, that's lovely, the Eden's Garden, sweet Jenny. It's beautiful. I'm glad you got that. The paper and the gems and the cotton paper, which is like the tissue paper, those are only going to be available whilst stocks last or until the 3rd of January. But the dies and the stamps are going to stick around longer. There we go, just like that. All right, now I get to decide, do I want to put this on a piece of white or do I want to use, so I could put it on a white piece like this. Oh, hang on, turn that over. Oh, it's got dirty marks on it. Oh dear, I'm such a messy crafter. I really can't help myself. I try to be neat and I try to keep it together, but it doesn't happen very often. Anyone else fall into that category? I'm thinking maybe of crumb cake, actually. I think crumb cake might be the go. Right, so I could just put it in the center here, and that would look quite nice. But I like the idea, I think, of using some of the paper. Probably not this piece because I've got a mark on it. I mean, I could also turn it over. That's nice too. That actually works as well. But I was thinking initially of doing, pretend this isn't here and I'll cut another piece. But I was thinking of, and I think I do still prefer that. I like the light color of the paper. I love this paper. I just think this is such nice paper. I love the colors. The combo in it just seems to work every single time. And we need, of course, a motif. Now, there's a number of options. I cut a few earlier, and I mean, I think this is a bit big. Yep, that's too big. And I've got a couple of shapes that are too big. These are actually from the matching dies, and like this can actually come across like this, and we can stamp a sentiment on that. That might be nice, actually. Right, so let me quickly cut another piece of this, because will we use this one? Actually, you know what one? I might use that one I said to you before I haven't used before. So will we go this background? Or will I go this background? This is a little bit more striking. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to do it. Oh, I know, Anita, that's horrible when that happens. I do it all the time, though. I'm just not careful. I was telling the story the other night on Friday night. I was telling a story how the night before I'd been using that Blackberry Beauty stuff, the Beauty of Tomorrow set. And there's a stamp in that set called I know today is a difficult day. Okay, which is quite a meaningful stamp, really. But I somehow managed to lean on the stamp, so I had that printed on my arm. And as I was saying the other day, if I was going to get a tattoo, that probably wouldn't be it. I don't want to be reminded when things are being difficult necessarily. I mean, it's nice for a card, especially some sort of like remembrance or sympathy card, but not so good on your skin. Thankfully, our inks just wash off. And for anyone who doesn't know this tip, if you get ink all over your fingers and you need to get them clean really quickly, the fastest way to get them clean is to wash your hair, because when you have washed your hair with shampoo and conditioner, I promise you at the end your fingers will be completely clean. So that's just a really good little tip. All right. You had to remake it. Oh, that's a bit sad. It does make you feel really bad. Yep, we're all messy crafters, but you know what? The process is the fun part, right? So this is how this is looking. It's a little bit different, isn't it? I mean, I can't help myself. I've got to trim this off a bit more. I just love the cork, and I couldn't wait. I just need to use it again. The cork is just too beautiful to not use it before it leaves forever. Oh my goodness. Mini dimensionals, and I also need some big dimensionals. Here we go. So I've got those other couple of smushy bits for later. I do actually do quite often what I just said, what I just showed you, and that is when I'm smushing ink and stuff around, I do a couple, and then I can choose which one I prefer at the end. I recommend doing that, because quite often you end up choosing the one that you didn't think you would. When you sit down to put it together, you go, oh, actually, I like the way that looks. See, I like the way this looks with that little bit of lighter up here in the corner. I think that's really nice. All right, so where is my, what stamp will I put on that? I've got a new set that's got some nice sentiments in it. This is a new one. This is called Blessings of Home. This will be in our January catalogue. So probably shouldn't really use it technically yet, but that's okay. So this set is called Nature's Harvest. And I think it's still in my workshop bag from the other day, which is why I cannot find it right now. So instead, I'm going to pull out one that I use quite often because it's got a lovely little sentiment in it that I find really handy. I can either go thank you or hello. Which one will I go? Thank you or hello? Thank you is the one I use the most. This one. Actually, do you know that I am going to use the thank you? I bet your 7-month-old kitten is fun. Our kitten was in trouble today. Oh, and tonight I chased Merlot into the bathroom because he was trying to throw up in the lounge room, which is lovely, I know. And he threw up bits of Christmas tree. So he's been eating the Christmas tree, and this is not a good idea. I don't know. No, I mean, that would make me throw up too if I was doing that. So, silly cats. I think I'm going to go with the coral. I think I like that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Anita. That's the one I chose, so we're on the same page. You sold 12 Christmas cards. That's awesome, Jenny. Isn't that great? Oh, look, I don't even know my creative process, Michelle. Who knows what it is? It just turns out the way it turns out. And you know what? That's actually okay. I don't mind that. So this is a die also from the same set as these dies. I'm going to put a dimensional underneath one end here. Actually, both. Let me think. Yeah, just the one end. And then what I'm going to do on the other end is I'm going to use some snail. And you're thinking, well, why would you only do one? And that's because I'm having it go over here, and there's already a dimensional underneath the cork. So I'm going to actually pop that here, and then it's got a dimensional on one end and not the other, just like that. So this has ended up totally different to what I was thinking. I mean, I thought I was using a scallop piece that didn't turn out, and instead I've gone with something completely different, and I actually quite like it. Now, does it need, you know what it needs? I know what it needs. It needs a bit of linen thread. I love this stuff. I always have it handy. It's one of those things that I never ever let myself run out of because you can always use linen thread. Linen thread is great on masculine cards. I don't tend to tie bows on masculine cards, but I tie knots or tie it around something, and it just looks amazing. And it's great when you want something, but you don't want as much as ribbon. You know, it's like a little bit less than ribbon, which I think is good. So let me grab my ribbon scissors. And let's move that and grab a glue dot, because glue dots are the best things ever. Even if I don't like the glue dots really being on the other side of the roll, that's okay. I'm learning to live with it, and I've managed so far. I'm sort of getting used to it now. Yeah, see, it just needed something, and I think that's what it needed. It was just a little bit of twine there. Oh, maybe it needs some bling. Ooh, maybe it needs some of those little dots. We could go with the bronze ones, or I could get a new packet out and do gold. But I think because I've got them here, I will actually go with these little guys. Let's try one here. And I'm thinking maybe one here and one up here. There we go. Done. I'm calling it finished now. What do you think, guys? Is that okay? Oh, good. We must have similar taste, Michelle. Wouldn't that be cool? Well, yeah, it is on the fly because sometimes my ideas, you know what, it's also, let's be honest, can I be totally vulnerable with you guys? Sometimes the reason it's on the fly, apart from the fact that that is my idea of fun, partly it's also because sometimes I haven't had time to get fully organized before I start. And I promise that I'm going to be here at 7:30. And sometimes I'm thinking at 7:15, what the heck am I going to do? I have no idea. And I pull out a bunch of things and we just go from there. So sometimes it's my lack of organization that ends up with totally creative, fun things. And I promise you, I did not know I was going to make this card. So I knew I had the frame. So that was the only thing I was sure of. I'd cut out a couple of silhouettes. I wasn't sure which one I would use. And the rest kind of, we made it up, didn't we? So there you go. I think so. I think it's kind of more fun sometimes just to make it up, right? And then you just never know. So shall we do one more? And once again, I don't know what I'm going to do. So let's use the paper. You know what? That's so true. That is very, very true. I want to use some of this paper, and I'm not sure which pieces I'm going to use, but I think maybe I'll use some pieces that I've already got semi-cut up and see where that takes us. So we've got this one. We've got this one. We've got this. I do like this. I haven't used this one nearly enough, and I'd like to use it. Also, we've got some nice yellows there, which I might pull in as well. Let's see how we go. All right, so this time I'm thinking I will start with a white base. I'm just going to move a couple of things out of the way, and I'm starting to get myself in a mess, and we all know how that goes. I'm sure I had a folded piece here before and it seems to have disappeared. This one will do for now. Yep, this will do. So I'm going to fold this one in half and use bone folder. A couple of little marks on this one as well. So I'm going to put it aside and pretend that's all okay. All right. So I said I'd like to use this paper, and let's see what we can do with that. Oh, I like both of these. I like the... okay. All right. I'm thinking maybe Misty Moonlight might be the theme of the night then. So I'm going to pull out my Misty Moonlight cardstock. You're a messy stamper also? Oh, goodness. Yes, that's actually where I get my best ideas, Michelle. I tend to be cleaning up my desk and I'll find a piece. And like, for example, I found a couple of pieces today. I found this piece today and thought I might use it, and I still might use it. And I found this piece. This is just jade. Isn't that a beautiful green? I really, really like it. So, but it doesn't actually fully go. It kind of goes with this paper, but not completely. So I'm thinking I might go blues in this one because blues are always good. And let's see, which way will I like this paper to go? I don't think it matters. I'm just going to go with a classic design. You guys have probably seen me do this design before. It's one of my favorites. And I do come back to it a lot. Sometimes I switch it around the other way. So there's a 1 inch piece here. Or 1 inch. I shouldn't say 1 inch because we're in Australia, right? How much is 1 inch? 1 inch is 2.5 centimeters. And this piece here, about 6.5 or 2.5 inches for those watching from elsewhere. And this piece here is going to go fit right in there. So obviously I have done this before and I know exactly how wide these pieces need to be. So that's, and don't the colours, just the blue and white, to me, that just looks fantastic. It looks so good. So remember that frame that we had before? Remember that? This is the middle of my frame. I wanted to use the cork again because I can, right? So I'm thinking about putting that here. And then I've also got some, what size will I use? That's too big. This might work. Bit of vellum. Let's see what we can do with that. So I'm going to glue these bits down. Sometimes if you have a favorite layout of a card, You can return to it over and over again with different papers, different configurations. You can do it landscape. You can do it, you know, this piece on this side or this piece over on this side. It doesn't really matter. You can really muck around with it and change it up. And you know that configuration works. And it's, to me, it's almost like a, I don't know, it's like coming home to a nice warm house. It's just a favorite configuration that works well for me. Does anyone else have a favorite configuration that they use? Oh, no, Gina, that has not happened to us yet, and I hope that never happens to me ever, ever. But you know what? There's no sound that gets you out of bed faster in the middle of the night than an animal or a child throwing up. Oh my goodness. It's not funny, but it kind of is, because man, does that get you moving fast. Oh dear. I remember way too many times that has occurred. All right. I like this. I'm going to pop it straight down on my, with dimensionals. Here we go. I saw it was a funny video that I came across the other day. It was a person sleeping and there was police sirens and there was slamming doors and there was all these really, really loud noises, you know, jackhammers, and then the sound of a cat vomiting, and the person was out of the bed so fast. Oh gosh, it brings back terrible memories. Oh, I just realized though I hadn't scrolled down far enough, and I had... Oh, okay, I missed you. I'm sorry. Oh, I missed a whole bunch of comments. I'm sorry. I'm going back and reading very, very quickly. I may have to read some of them after. So, I just think, I'm worried that actually this might not be big enough. Maybe I should have gone for a bigger piece of cork. But anyway, I do like this. All right, so I'm looking through my blending brushes and I'm looking for a blue one. Whoop, there's one. We like it when we find what we're looking for, and I'm going to give this vellum a little bit of colour. We're going to get a bit more solid blue in the middle. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. All right, so I like the white edges, but a little bit of colour in the middle. You can see this is looking very, very nice. All right, so I've got a sentiment here, which I might use. I'm just deciding whether I want to use that or something else. And what else do I have here? I have some other shapes as well. Oh, I know. I found a shape when I was cleaning up my desk today. Margaret, you'd be proud of me. Which has got nothing to do with this set whatsoever. Oh, and we've also got our black thistle from the other card. Remember the other card, and we didn't use it? So we've also got that to play with. So there's a couple of options here. There's this guy. I mean, I can cut that down smaller. I think that's maybe... that might work, the black. But there's also this idea here. This is cut from the hand-penned dies, and that would look really nice as well on there. And then I could have a sentiment down here. That would look nice, because with the white, or maybe I cut some of these dies, instead of black, I cut them with white. That might look good. What do you think, guys? I think maybe I like the idea of using the set like this one, for example, but instead of black, I'm wondering if white would be better. What do you think? Is this a cone flower? Is that what we call this? I know the hand pen die cut is really nice, isn't it? I just happened to find this on the desk when I was cleaning up a bit today, and like as usual, I didn't get very far with the cleaning because of that. That's just how that works. I did notice I've still got some bits to push out here. So let me get these out. Shall we use this one? Even though it doesn't really, have anything to do with this. So who else does this? Who else finds stuff on the disc and then head off in a tangent, completely different direction? But isn't this paper beautiful? And the cork paper, my goodness. So please, if you don't have the cork paper and you like it, go grab it before it sells out, please. I think it's really cool stuff. And see how much nicer this looks on the blue than if it was just you wouldn't see it nearly as much if you just had the white vellum. So it definitely lends itself to a bit of colour. I always like that. Right, so I'm just going to add a bit to some of the bigger bits. I'm not going to do it to the very edge of the leaves because those bits will be hanging off. That's probably enough. All right, so we're going to go with the hand pen dies, and we'll just pretend. Now, which side did I miss? This side. We'll just pretend that it was meant to be there, because no one will ever know except us, right? Just going to push this down to make good contact so it will stick. All right, when you've got a die cut on top as well, it also makes it easier to put your dimensionals, and also that bit of colour also helps you hide the dimensionals. So we want mini dimensionals, and in this case I'm going to go with white ones, which are nowhere to be found when I want them, but here they are. It's all right. So I'm just going to add a couple in a couple of spots so that they won't be seen. And down here, let's make sure, yep, that looks good from the other side. So you're only adding it to the places where there's a bit more width in the design. Well, now I've realized also this is already on dimensionals, so I might need to add an extra dimensional under here. There we go, just like that, so it sits properly. It's looking nice. Totally different to what I was expecting, but that's okay. And you know that I can't find my Nature's Harvest stamp set. I'll find it as soon as I'm finished chatting to you guys. I took it to a class this week. Oh, found it. Here we go. Found it. So there is this long one here will fit on there, and so will the thank you. And the thank you, of course, is, as you know, very useful. So I think I'll just go with that. And you can, Misty Moonlight is very, very similar in tone to Night of Navy. If you don't have Misty Moonlight ink, you can get away with Night of Navy. They look perfect together, just one's a slightly darker tone than the other. All right, now let's see if I can be fancy. And I'm not going to actually use the whole, I don't want the whole thing. I'm just going to add it here towards the end. Sorry, I've got to bring my head in so I can be straight. Sorry about that. It was worth it. All right, now, a couple of things I could do. I can just snip it off. If I really wanted to get exactly the same edge, I could put it back into the die and move the die down so it just does the end. But I'm going to be lazy. And you know what? I'm going to make it look like it's meant to be like this. I'm going to rip it. And that's okay. I'm deciding where I want it to be. Down here, across here, at the bottom. No, I think down here. All right, so let's go dimensionals again. Minis will be fine. Oh, all the time, Anita. And on Friday nights, when I do my Facebook lives, if I do that on my Friday nights, when I just had something in my hand and then I can't find it, that is known as a Linda moment. And anyone who calls me out and calls out Linda moment gets a prize. Don't do that on YouTube, but I do it on my Facebook lives. But yeah. All right, what do we think? Do we like this? It's coming together quite nicely, actually. I'm going to pop it on the white card here. I'm going to use my, yeah. You know what? The good thing about tearing is it makes it look like you meant to do it like that. It looks very intentional, and I think that's why tearing works. I mean, if it looked like it was ripped by accident, it would look terrible. But because tearing, especially if you tear towards you, so that you can see the core of the paper, that makes it look very intentional. Now, I think this time those little beautiful metallic dots won't work. I think this time I'm going to use something from the new catalogue that is absolutely my love these. These are coming in January. So if you love them, they should be on your order when you order in January. These are called Iridescent. Oh, I shouldn't remember exactly what they're called, but they're Iridescent Gems anyway. And just beautiful. So I'm going to put one here. And they've got like a pink and blue kind of shine to them. Just lovely. Love them. Where shall I put them? I'll put one here, and I'm going to put one of the big ones just here on the edge of the cork. And they're just pretty and shiny. And we could put a ribbon on, like a white seam binding ribbon or something like that, but I don't know that it needs it. What do you guys think? You tore the inside of a card that you had taped shut. Oh. So did it still look good? Yeah? How are you, Ellen, by the way? Nice to see you. Yeah, hey. I just saw your comment now. So, all right. So let's look at our 2 cards from tonight. If I find the other one. If I haven't dumped everything all over on top of it, which I probably have. Come on, let's face it. You know how I am. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, it'll be up on Facebook and YouTube. Sorry, what's that place? Instagram tonight. Anyway, I'll have them up there later. But these are the 2 cards from tonight. I think they turned out okay. I like them both. I'm covering up the mess, kind of. There's still mess, but, you know, it's creative mess. No ribbon. You think it's perfect as is? Thank you, guys. I think I tend to agree. Hey, Subu. Nice to see you. You'll have to watch the replay. I'm so sorry. It's nice to see people saying hello to each other. That's lovely. Oh, yeah, I like to. I'm in the middle of. I'm doing cards at the moment to send out with my catalogs. When the catalogs arrive this week, I'm hoping to have enough cards to pop in all the envelopes with them. So yeah, that's what I've been working on today. I hope everyone has a fantastic week. It's Sunday night here, so wherever you are, I hope that your whole week is just wonderful and that you get lots of things done and you're not too stressed heading up to Christmas, because I know it's a really stressful time for people, and we don't want it to be stressful. We want it to be enjoyable. I'm actually going to, on Tuesday, I'm going to a Christmas lunch with some of my customers up in the Hunter Valley, and I'm planning on taking some little gifts and gift tags and things that I've made, and looking forward to that. So that'll be fun. So I hope everyone has a fantastic week and look after yourselves. Stay safe, and I'll be back next week. Bye-bye.